TNCRadio.LIVE, your commercial driver navigation station.
Good afternoon. This is TNCRadio.LIVE, and this is the Truckers Network Radio Show with your host, Shelley Johnson.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Yes, this is the Truckers Network Radio Show on TNCRadio.LIVE. I'm Shelley Johnson with my co-host, Tom Kirk. We're all about the news, talk, information, and entertainment that drivers want to hear. You know, information is really important to drivers. And as a driver, Angie Baum knows that. She and her husband, Larry, are team drivers. They're long-haul truckers who are out 5 or 6 weeks at a time, and information is essential. She and her husband are known for the podcast Married to the Road. Angie put together trucker safety info in 2020 to provide weather and traffic information for drivers on Facebook. She's also been doing a whole lot of fundraising for truckers and their families. Welcome, Angie. I appreciate you being on the show today.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
You know, I thought maybe we could start with what you and Larry do. You drive long haul. How long have you been doing that, and what do you drive?
Yeah, we actually, this is going to be my 4th year driving, and Larry's, I believe, 18th year. But we are long haul truckers. We work for FedEx Custom Critical. So lately we've been doing a lot of the COVID vaccinations, but we're out usually 5 or 6 weeks at a time and then come home for about a week. And, so far it's been awesome. I think I just love being able to see the country and meet new people. And now that our kids are grown, it's just a fun way to kind of see the United States.
Yeah, you can see the U.S. and get paid for it. Can't beat that.
Absolutely.
So, were you, was it your idea to become a team driver, or how did that all evolve?
Yeah, that was kind of funny. I got tired of my husband being gone all the time, and his boss suggested to him, he said, well, has your wife ever thought about becoming a truck driver? And I think I was 44 at that time. Mm-hmm. And I'd always worked in an office, and I was like, no, I've never thought of being a truck driver. So I got to thinking about it, and I was like, well, I could be with him all the time and I could learn a new profession. And so my kids thought I was crazy because I was going into trucking at such a late age. But it's been the best thing. It's been, it was hard at first because he was my boss. So he had to teach me the ropes, but other than that, I love it.
So did he think, was he your teacher? And how did that work? I would imagine.
Yeah. He was my teacher for the first 6. So I had to go to school first. Mm-hmm. I went through regular CDL school just like everybody else. And then after that, he was my trainer for the first 6 months. And so, he had to train me. And that's kind of hard because, I'm stubborn and bullheaded, and so is he. So it was hard having to listen to him. But he gave me some great advice, and I learned a lot. So.
Well, it probably helps that you know him, so. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, was he impressed with how quickly you learned and all of that, or were there some rocky times where you're like, just get off me and let me just do this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's been some rocky times, but I do have to say, for the most part, he's like my biggest cheerleader, because I come to him with all these crazy ideas of all this stuff that I want to do to help truckers. And he's my biggest supporter. He's always, from day one, he's just like, you can do this. Even when I was having problems in CDL school, because I was like one of the only females, and then I was like the oldest one in there, he was just like, you've got this, you can do it. So he's always been my biggest cheerleader.
That's cool. Well, you got to have a champion when it's your husband. That's really awesome.
Absolutely.
So, how was it going from hardly ever seeing him to being with him 24/7?
I have to say that I think the first 2 years was probably the hardest, because it's like, at first you're like, oh, this is going to be awesome. We're going to be together all the time. And then it's like, it's just too much togetherness. But now we have kind of learned, how to balance each other. And when we need our breaks, that's usually when I'll go for a walk and just kind of get some exercise in. So it's a lot better now. But I always say, if you're going into team driving and you haven't done it before, the first year is always the hardest, because you're learning the quirks and all the things that get on your nerves. If you can make it past the first year, you've got a good chance.
So if there's some ladies out there thinking about doing this, is there a step-by-step approach to that? What do you recommend?
Well, I think the biggest thing, especially for us ladies, is, bathroom's a big one. Not to be graphic, but it's a big change when you don't have the opportunity to go to the bathroom every time you want. And then the long hours, driving constantly and trying to keep yourself awake for 10 or 11 hours, it's hard. It's hard. So, my trick is I like listening to podcasts. I like something that keeps my mind active and going. So I like listening to podcasts and something to, just sometimes the radio, but it's usually podcasts. But I think the hardest thing is it's a completely different lifestyle. You just gotta, like I say, if you can make it through the first year and not kill each other, you got a good chance.
That would be a challenge. I'm sure there have been times of what do you do when you're mad at each other? I mean, just not look at each other? How does that work?
I think any trucker who has a partner with him, it's that privacy curtain. That privacy curtain is like a godsend because when you get to shut that, it's almost like slamming your door at home. You just shut the curtain.
Put a little sign out, do not disturb.
You quickly learn how to slam a curtain.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
And yes, you can slam a curtain.
All right. You can. Explain that, please.
A lot of the curtains, depending on who makes it, may have a magnetic or a metal strip in there, so you can kind of make a clunk, but you can just kind of grab those curtains and just make this really good whooshing, lumping noise. So, yes, it is possible to slam a curtain so that the person on the other end knows your displeasure.
Yes, I've been known to slam doors.
And don't ask me how I know this.
Oh, you've never personally done that, Tom?
Never. I'm completely innocent.
Okay.
I would never, ever slam a curtain. And you can't ask my co-driver. He's asleep.
So, Angie, what do you do when you really want Larry to sleep on the couch? That's not going to work, is it?
No, it's not. Totally not.
There's duct tape and a catwalk.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, you gave me an idea.
Sorry, Larry.
Yeah, Larry thanks you, Tom. Well, I imagine you guys, it sounds like you're having a lot of fun, Angie. There's a lot of enthusiasm in your voice. What do you like best about cross country? I know you said you can see all kinds of things. I mean, it really is. We've got a beautiful country. So.
Yeah, I just, I love all things trucking. I think what I love the most is, of everything that I've done in my entire life, I think trucking is probably the one thing I'm the proudest of because it was so hard for me to get my CDL license and everything it took for me because it took me 6 months to get my CDL license. I don't know why I'm sharing this with you, but I will.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Normally it takes people about 6 weeks, but I had a situation where I was like the only female in my particular group and my teachers didn't want me to succeed. Pretty much is what it came down to until FedEx said, you need to give her the proper training. So it was a struggle and I never gave up. And, I was just like, I'm going to be a truck driver. This is what I want to do. And it's just, I don't know, when I pull up to a truck stop, it's just like the proudest feeling in the world knowing that I'm a female representing the female truckers out there. And I just love it. I just love the freedom.
It's kind of amazing that in this day and age that there would be instructors that wouldn't want you to succeed just because you're a woman. It's like, what century are they in?
I know. I had a really hard time. And when we kind of looked into the actual school that I went to, I wasn't the only female. It was like the ratio of females to males that passed through that particular school. It was like almost, I think, 2% of females that passed. And it wasn't until FedEx, my FedEx instructors stepped in and helped me out that I was finally able to get the training I needed to pass. I was like, I'm not giving up.
Good for you. You weren't intimidated and you had somebody who advocated for you too. That's
absolutely. Excellent. Absolutely.
And good for you for, plodding ahead and saying, you know what? You're not going to get me down, buddy.
That's right. You're not going to keep me down.
Right. So what would you say you like best? I mean, you said that you love the travel. What are some of the experiences that have been the most memorable?
I think some of the cool, especially this year, I would say, because we used to work for FedEx Ground and we switched to Custom Critical. And one of the things that I love the most is we actually have a lot more free time, Larry and I do, because with Ground, it was always one of us was driving, one of us was sleeping. And with Custom Critical, we have a lot more time together and then a lot more off time. So like we've been to Niagara Falls and we've seen a lot more of the country than we've been able to in years past. So that's, I think, the best thing. And then we've met so many neat people. I mean, people I still talk to on a daily basis, truckers, people at truck stops, waitresses. It's so much fun. And, I think that's one of the things that I encourage, especially with my truckers is, if you're at a truck stop, don't walk past people and not talk to them. Say, hey, say good morning, and you can meet so many neat people out there on the road.
Oh, yeah, from all over. I would imagine
Yes.
it's quite an education because you're meeting people from Canada, Mexico. I mean, there are people who have taken up trucking from other countries too. I mean, it would be a great experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. You just meet so many different varieties of people. And I'm especially drawn to the husband and wife team couples. I always tend to gravitate towards them because I'm
Sure.
like, hey, we're teams too.
Oh yeah. They have you can talk to the lady and say, hey, how do you deal with this?
Yes.
You've got a sympathetic ear, if you will.
Absolutely.
So it kind of is like you're in an RV. A lot of couples, when they want to retire and so forth, go traveling around the country. It's just kind of a little bit more compartmentalized, if you will, for women who are not accustomed to maybe packing efficiently. How do you learn to do that? Because obviously you have spatial constraints.
Yeah, that's probably our biggest thing is the organization. I mean, we've been lucky we upgraded to a bigger truck. And so that's nice because I'm actually able to cook on here. And so we're able to do a lot more. But that's the biggest thing is learning how much to pack, what to pack, and what to bring. And then I tend to be one of those people that I overbuy just so I make sure I always have enough. So like I'll overbuy aspirin and Tylenol and paper towels and toilet paper because I want to make sure that we never run out. So yeah, that's the hardest thing is just organization, making sure everything's got its own spot. And we try to only take on and off the truck pretty much our dirty clothes. And other than that, we try to keep the truck, pretty much stocked up so we're not having to take too much off when we do our 1 week of home time.
Sure. Now, when you go home, do you guys run into the opposite quarters of the house? Because you want your space? How does that work?
Actually, no. I mean, I'm surprised that we don't. We usually take that time just to see our family. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I love being with him 24/7. It didn't used to be that way. The first 2 years were pretty rocky, but it's like I love being with him 24/7. I wouldn't have it any other way. So even when we're on our home time, it's like we'll go out and do stuff together. That's usually when we'll have our dates. We'll go out on little dates and go to our restaurants that we miss or seeing people that we miss. So yeah, we tend to spend 24/7 together and I kind of like it.
Well, that's pretty cool. Well, I bet you kind of get to know each other better. It's kind of like getting to almost dating all over again in some ways and learning new things that maybe you didn't know about your husband. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you have so much time to talk and just, talk about things that happen in your life. And I seem like every day it's like, I didn't know that happened. You learn so many new things, it gives you a chance to really talk and communicate. And yeah, we're constantly learning new stuff about each other all the time. I'm like, we've been together. It'll be 6 years. Oh, it was 6 years last month. And we will be married for 5 years this month. So I'm like, and I'm still learning new stuff about you every day.
Well, it never gets boring. That's a good thing.
No.
Well, our listeners definitely will want to learn more here. We're going to be going to a break here on the Truckers Network radio show on TNCRadio.LIVE. We're talking to Angie Baum, of Trucker Safety Info. We'll be back right after this.
This info blog on TNCRadio.LIVE is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. Spring is near. Cleaning tips for truck drivers. Spring's right around the corner. That means saying goodbye to the cold winter weather and hello to the warm sunshine. For many people, it's time to start spring cleaning at their house. For truckers, this could mean cleaning out their truck. It's not uncommon for truck drivers to spend more time on the road than in their house. Having a clean, organized truck can make life on the road much more enjoyable and less stressful. Here's some spring cleaning tips for truck drivers. Clean and organize. It's always a good idea to incorporate a cleaning routine into your work schedule. After all, your truck reflects who you are as a driver. A clean and well-organized truck can take a lot of stress out of your job as being a truck driver. It also makes you more prepared in the event of a DOT inspection. Take some time this spring to clean out and organize your truck. Throw away the trash. Donate or get rid of things that are not a part of your daily use. Go through your paperwork and organize it. Finally, wipe down the inside of your truck. Get a wet cloth and wipe down your dash, air vents, and other areas you feel need cleaning. After you wipe everything down, pull out your vacuum and start vacuuming the carpets, floor mats, and vents. Wash and wax. The winter months can be hard on the exterior of a truck. All the snow and de-icing salts can make your truck look pretty rough. Start washing your truck from the top and work your way down. Use microfiber cloths to clean your windows and windshields. Maintenance. Failing to stay up to date on your truck's maintenance means you're less likely to spot a problem before it occurs. This can end up costing you a lot of money and time off from work. Not only do you save money and time by regularly performing maintenance on your truck, but you're also more likely to pass a roadside inspection. The spring season is a great time to perform a maintenance check on your truck. Check fluid levels and make sure your lights and windshield wipers are working. Snow and ice take a toll on brakes and tires. The transition from cold to warm weather can affect your tire pressure. Check your brakes and make sure they're not worn out. Be sure to check out the blog, 6 Easy Steps for Keeping Your Semi-Truck Interior Clean, from the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. Enjoy the best in trucker-style music and comedy. Weeknights starting at 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, right here on TNCRadio.LIVE.
This is the Truckers Network radio show on TNCRadio.LIVE. I'm Shelley Johnson with my co-host Tom Kirk. We're talking with Angie Baum of Trucker Safety Info. Her husband Larry's joined us. He's her better half, or are you the better half, or is she the better half, Larry?
Oh, absolutely not. Angie is by far the better half.
Good for you. I was wondering, what are your perspectives on team driving with your wife?
I absolutely love it. I've done other teammates, and they're that didn't work out too much, and I did solo for a while. Didn't care for that either. Once Angie got on the truck, I found heaven.
Oh, that is awesome. So what do you like best?
Besides being with her all the time?
Yeah, I mean, have you gotten to know her better? And is it kind of like maybe dating all over again? It's like, wow, I'm getting to know you in a different way, working together and traveling.
Every day is like our first date.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, when I'm driving or she's driving, when we swap, we each sit up there and keep each other company for a couple hours. And all we do is talk and learn a lot about her. And she learns a lot about me. And some things probably shouldn't have told her, but they just come out when you're talking.
Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with honesty. You guys actually had started before the Trucker Safety Group on Facebook. You had a podcast, Married to the Road. What inspired that?
Actually, the way it started was with George Floyd. And when all the riots were happening, Angie came up with this idea to try to help the drivers out there to inform where there was going to be protesting. So that's basically how it started. Mm-hmm. And then I'm sorry.
We did Married to the Road first.
Yeah. We stopped at a truck stop in Barstow. That's how everything got started. Okay. We stopped at a truck stop in Barstow, and there was a homeless lady there. Angie got to talking to her and gave her some feminine products out of our truck. And then we came up with the idea of making homeless kits with feminine products and for the women. And then stuff for the guys and some candies and waters and chips. And we made bags and we were handing them out to as many people as we could see.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then we started with gift cards for the truckers.
Yep.
And then we started buying gift cards, $10 gift cards for like Subway and Taco Bell and whatever restaurants were in the truck stops. And we spent a lot of money on that, but it was all worth it.
So what
and then Trucker Info came out with the riots.
Now, with the trucker gift cards, did you, when you stopped at a truck stop, you just went around to each rig and distributed them, or?
Yeah, it was every Friday when we got paid, we'd go in there and take $100 and buy $10 gift cards, and then every time we would fuel, we would go and talk to truckers that were fueling and give them gift cards just for appreciation of what we're all going through out here.
And it was awesome. Back when like the COVID pandemic had just started, and a lot of the truckers were having a hard time finding places to eat. And then our boss at the time of where we worked at had heard what we were doing, and so he was very generous, and he donated I think it was $2,000 to help us, and then we wound up getting other donations. So we wound up getting, like, I think all total we had about $4,000, and then I think Larry and I put $1,000 of our own dollars. But we handed out between meals and gift cards over 550 truck drivers that we helped. It was probably the best thing I think I've ever done. I actually would like to start it up again because we met so many truckers along the way.
That is so awesome.
That was very fun. We loved doing that.
Well, what a great idea, because absolutely the drivers at the beginning of the pandemic, there were so many challenges. There still are. What kind of challenges did you folks experience besides truck stops, bathrooms not being open, all kinds of crazy stuff?
Yeah, a lot of it was we'd come across rest areas that were closed, which was shocking. But a lot of the rest areas, they closed at the beginning of the pandemic. And then even some of the, more the mom and pop, not the big name truck stops, but the mom and pop shops, they would shut down the restaurants. A lot of the TAs shut down their major restaurants. And then, even some of like the mom and pop or smaller truck stops were closing down their showers. So for, a couple months there, when everybody was at home during that 3-month period, it got pretty hard. And so we would pretty much just go up to truck drivers, and just give them gift cards, and we talk with them, and we just say, hey, we appreciate you being out here. We know it's hard right now. Times are hard. And at that point, there was still rioting going on. And so, it was kind of a sad time, actually, because a lot of the truckers we met were contemplating retiring because things had gotten so bad. And we, it was just kind of nice to give them a word of encouragement. Hey, we appreciate you.
Yeah. You were brightening their day. When things seemed hopeless, there really are people out here that care. And they're humans out here, because frankly, it was like a bad sci-fi movie when you think about it.
It was. I remember one point we were going down a road in New Mexico, and for almost 20 minutes, I think I only saw 2 trucks besides my own truck. And I was like, on one way, it's nice because you don't have the traffic, but on the other way, it was probably the eeriest thing I've ever been through.
Yeah, kind of like a Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
It was so weird driving through California, LA area, and not having traffic. I'm from LA, so I was raised with traffic. I've never not known traffic, and that was really weird.
I bet. But you could actually get from point A to point B in the proper amount of time.
Absolutely. That was a nice part about it.
It was just nice doing the speed limit.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of stop and go and gridlock. And
yeah.
So, Larry, are there any places that you want to travel with Angie? Have you thought about maybe going up to Alaska or anything like that, or any states you haven't visited?
We almost made it to Alaska. We got halfway through Canada, and then the snow hit, and they canceled our load, so we had to turn around and come back. But the main state on my bucket list is Maine. I want to go to Maine and have a Maine lobster in Maine. That's like number one thing on my bucket list. I have not been to Maine yet.
How many states have you traveled?
It was like, there's Maine, just those little ones up there under Maine. So there's like Maine and the 3 little ones underneath there. I haven't been up that far yet. All the other ones I've hit multiple times.
So before you had traveled together as a team, how many states had you actually gone on vacation to?
Vacation or drove through? You mean like not driving a truck?
Right, before you actually became a team. I imagine that there were a lot of states you hadn't seen together.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, when I met Angie, she pretty much was an Illinoisan, or whatever, however you say it, but she pretty much lived in her bubble in Illinois.
Okay.
And she went to Missouri
Florida.
and
That was about it.
Florida. She flew to Florida for about a week for vacation, flew to California, but that was not a vacation. That was something with her brother. So that was a bad trip to California. But other than that, nothing. Then when we got together, we really didn't go to many places, but we went on a few cruises.
Okay.
And
this has been all new to me, seeing the states, because unlike Larry, I hadn't traveled much. So seeing all the states and all the scenery and everything, it's all been new to me. So it's kind of like the first time I saw the mountains in Arizona. I was like a child. I was like at Christmas time. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. I've never seen anything like this.
Larry, that's got to be fun watching Angie just like a little kid seeing it for the first time. That's neat.
Those are the highlights of my day. Every time there's something new that I see her react to, I just absolutely love it. And to experience it with her just melts my heart.
And you're seeing it maybe in a new perspective with Angie too. That's neat.
The coolest thing was a couple months ago. So I lived in California, so Vegas was my place to go for dinner. I would drive to Vegas and have dinner and then come back home or spend a weekend. So Vegas was like no big deal to me. But one trip that we went through, we were driving down the freeway and just her eyes lit up seeing Vegas. I had to pull off, get down the strip, showed her the strip while we're driving the truck down the strip, and then went from one end to the other, hop back on the freeway, and then finished our run. And she was just in awe. And it was at night, so that was even more cool.
Oh, that would be really neat. You're pretty daring driving down the strip in Las Vegas. I've actually done that on a Saturday afternoon.
It was packed, yes.
Oh, man.
It was packed.
And you've got a lot of people who are clueless, and they're walking around with big cocktails, and they're in the middle of the street. So it's like,
cocktails, drunk, and texting and walking.
Oh, yeah. So I can't imagine doing that in a semi. Wow.
That was my first time actually driving down the strip in the truck. So that was my first. So we experienced first together on that day.
What other cities and in places have you seen that were really exciting together as a team?
Truckee, California, and Reno. Those places are beautiful. We actually stayed in Truckee and Reno a couple times because that's her favorite place.
And Flagstaff, Arizona is gorgeous too.
So have you decided maybe when you actually retire, you want to live somewhere else besides, do you folks live in Illinois or?
Yeah, we live right by St. Louis. And then we've got our daughters or their husbands are in the Air Force. So we have one in Arizona and one in Florida. So originally we were thinking of Nashville because we figured that kind of be a halfway point.
Sure. And we have a daughter that's in Missouri.
St. Louis, too. We have 3 daughters. So we're thinking Nashville might kind of be our center point. That way we're kind of in the middle of all 3 girls.
But that's not my choice.
He wants to go to Florida.
Oh, okay.
I'm a beach bum, so give me the water. I'm happy.
Well, maybe over the course of time, you can negotiate that on the road.
Hopefully one day we could have a house and live in Tennessee and a vacation home in Florida.
There you go.
both
that always works. Yeah, you'd have the best of both worlds that way. We're going to have some more.
Florida's my choice.
Florida is your choice? Okay.
Absolutely. Well, I love it.
Well, we'll see. Maybe you guys will end up having to flip a coin or...
Yeah.
No, that won't work. She decides where we live.
Okay.
We'll be back. 2 cents and she takes 3 of them back.
Okay. That's funny. You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show here on TNCRadio.LIVE. Definitely stay tuned for more stories here from Angie and Larry on TNCRadio.LIVE. Space in a semi-truck is limited. A majority of truck drivers spend a good portion of their careers living on the road. Trying to fit all the necessary home items, personal products, work documents, and food in a tiny truck cab can be a challenge. Staying organized on the road helps you stay more productive and comfortable. It also helps to be organized in the event of a DOT inspection. The Truckers Network has 5 helpful organization tips for truck drivers. Storage containers. Storage containers are inexpensive and come in a variety of different sizes. Depending on the size, you can fit a storage container in many different places. Make sure to measure the container before buying to ensure you maximize your space. You'll want to use every bit of your cab. Some items you can put in the containers include canned or dry food, water, cleaning supplies, exercise equipment, and toiletries. Some of our recommended storage containers include Iris USA TB42 12-quart stack and pull box, Itemy 6-pack plastic storage baskets, weight trim foldable shoe box. Command hooks. Command hooks are a great way to maximize your space and keep things off the floor. Install a couple command hooks and you can hang your everyday coat, hat, or bag. Here's a pro tip. Use Velcro to attach to containers or different items so they don't slide around while driving on bumpy roads. Some of our recommended command hooks include Command Small Wire Hooks, 16 hooks, 24 strips. Photo Snow Adhesive Hooks, Ultra Strong Wall Hangers and Hooks. Budding Joy Adhesive Heavy-Duty Hooks. Over-the-Door Shoe Organizer. An over-the-door shoe organizer is great for keeping your closet and your truck cab organized. Instead of storing shoes, store your cleaning supplies, personal items, and some clothes. Check out our recommended shoe organizers. 24 pockets, simple houseware crystal clear over-the-door hanging shoe organizer. Aristocrat Homeware's over-the-door shoe rack and closet organizer system with 24 extra-large heavy-duty pockets. Shower caddies. Truck stop showers are a place you'll often be. Having a shower caddy full of your shower routine necessities will help ensure you have everything you need. Forgetting your toiletries will have you buying some at the truck stop or running back out to your truck. Shower caddies are also great for holding condiments, drinks, and dinnerware. Some of our recommended shower caddies include Greenbrier Small Utility Shower Caddy Tote, 7-pocket Shower Caddy Tote. Labels. Because there's limited space in a semi-cab, most of your things will be in containers. Investing in a label maker is a great way to organize your storage containers and drawers. It also makes it easy to find what you need. Check out some of our recommended labels and label makers. They include Dymo LetraTag 100H Plus handheld label maker, address labels 2.625 by 1 pack of 3,000 labels.
For the latest in traffic, weather, and information, catch the Morning Grind weekdays right here on TNCRadio.LIVE.
You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show on TNCRadio.LIVE. I'm Shelley Johnson with my co-host Tom Kirk. We're talking with Angie and Larry Baum of Trucker Safety Info and Married to the Road, the podcast I'm sure a lot of the drivers have heard. Trucker Safety Info has done a lot of great fundraising. Did you want to talk a little bit about that? Because you've helped some trucker families that have really been in need.
Yeah, so it pretty much came about because some of the moderators in my group, Trucker Safety Info, had run on some hard times. And one of the things that we were noticing, there's a lot of awesome trucker charities, but one of the things that we noticed was a lot of the trucking charities that were out there didn't help like in the immediate family member of a trucker, like, their child or their grandchild if something was to happen. And so we kind of came up with the idea that we wanted to help in some way. And so we started doing some fundraising. And the first fundraiser we did was actually for one of our moderators. Her daughter's house caught on fire, and she had 4 children, and they lost their family dog too. Aww. And so we were able to fundraise and get her some money so they could kind of get some stuff from Walmart to try to get back up on their feet. Mm-hmm. And then we also sent a little stuffed dog to the one grandson to kind of, it looked just like the dog that he lost. And we felt so bad for it. But he sent me a picture. He absolutely loved the stuffed dog that we gave him.
Aw. That is.
And then at Christmas time, we adopted a single mom in our area that she was actually a CNA worker and had been since she was like 17. And due to COVID, she found herself unemployed and right before Christmas, and she had a newborn baby. So the group adopted her, and we wound up getting her all kinds of toys for the kids and clothing. And I mean, the people in my group are just amazing. They give with their heart and their soul, and it's just like I want to cry sometimes because I just can't believe how wonderful my truckers are. I always call them my truckers because I've got almost 4,000 truckers and RVers in my group, and they're just some of them. I mean, most groups on Facebook, you have a lot of bickering and a lot of political talk, and my group's not like that. They're all there to help each other, and I just love that about them.
That's excellent. Well, truckers are generous, and I don't think the average person knows that. It's just amazing, and you come together when there's a need.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's one of the things, truckers tend to get a bad reputation, and everybody that I have met personally, majority of us just have a heart of gold, and we just want to help people.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom, did you have any questions for Angie and Larry?
Okay, this is maybe for both of you. Is there any specific type of load or freight that you have not done yet, but would like to sometime?
Oh, that's a good one.
Huh. Yeah, I really never thought of that.
I don't know. I don't think so. We've done a lot. I mean, everything we do is right now we're refrigerated. We do a lot of refrigerated, but yeah, I don't know. That's a good one. I think one of the challenges, I've always kind of been interested in doing flatbed, but that's a lot of work. And Larry said, no way.
Larry, brother, I agree with you. I was too old for that 15 years ago when I first started trucking when I was around 25, 30. So yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah. Every once in a while, like today, I had to strap up the load that's inside the trailer. And that was a lot of work.
It would be.
But we are in the process of becoming DOD certified. Applications in. We're just waiting on the approval. So that's our next step in trucking is becoming DOD certified.
Yeah, that'll be fun because one of the benefits of that is, like we said, we have 2 of our 3 daughters live on Air Force bases, so that'll give us access to be able to see them a lot easier too. So we're excited about that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the fundraiser it's a good thing. Like right now, the current fundraiser we have going on is kind of tugging at my heartstrings. So we have a truck driver who just, him and his wife gave birth to a set of twins in March, and they already had a 2-year-old daughter named Aurora and
Luna.
Luna. And then they had the twin daughters in March, which is Rhea and Aurora. And Aurora was, she was healthy and she was fine, but Rhea's got a heart defect. And so she's already undergone 1 surgery, and they're talking about possibly having to do open heart surgery. And so right now he's not working, but I do have to say his trucking company is amazing because they have told him that, he will have a job whenever he's ready to come back. And a lot of trucking companies do not do that. So we truly appreciate that.
Yeah. How many fundraisers have you done so far? You've done quite a few, amazingly. I mean, and what you've done is just amazing, and how everybody's come together from your group.
Yeah. So this is number 5. Pretty much what we do is we have a link set up that if anybody needs assistance or help, we just tell them, send us an email or message us on Facebook, let us know what the circumstances are. And then I have a group, there's 3 of us, and 4 of us, including Larry. And we just try to talk to the person, get all the information. Our biggest thing is we just want to make sure that it's, legitimate. And, and then we just try to get as much information as possible. And if we can help them, then we do. Larry and I always say I have a bleeding heart because I tend to help everybody. That's just my nature.
There's nothing wrong with that. We could use a lot more of that in the world when you think about it. And I think it's awesome that you guys are champions for that.
Thank you.
Another bleeding heart truck driver that likes helping people. Who would have thunk it?
I think it's great.
That's me.
The thing is, I think you'll agree with this, Larry and Angie. I would say the average truck driver who's been in the industry any length of time, one of the first things they're always willing to do is help kids. But pretty much anybody who needs help, they'll almost literally, and in some cases literally, give the shirt off their back to help people. So, I definitely commend you for all you're doing, not just to help the general community, but drivers, whether they're on the road or their families back at home too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I can't agree with you more. I mean, there's been so many instances on the road where we have seen truckers just go above and beyond to help people. And I think that's what I love the most about our trucking community is, 90% of the time, if somebody sees a trucker out there struggling, or any person for that matter, they're the first ones to jump in and help out. And I think that's why I'm so proud to say I'm a truck driver and part of the trucking community.
I think that's what more people need to know about the trucking community. It's a big family that helps, and not just helping truckers. I mean, truckers help other people too.
Absolutely.
And I've come up with. Sorry, Shelley, go ahead.
No.
I've come up with another question for you two guys. Where is your least favorite place to go or drive, and where is your favorite place to go or drive?
I got my least favorite place, Jersey and New York.
What's your favorite?
Favorite would be the 70, Colorado through Vail.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty.
I would say driving.
That is a gorgeous drive.
Yes, I would say driving through Washington and Oregon or driving through Colorado is my favorite. Least favorite is probably, New York, New Jersey, and California. I don't like downtown LA, that particular area, or Sacramento, just too busy.
The main
getting
thing
busier
I don't
all the
like
time.
about California, the main thing I don't like about California is 55. That just drives me crazy.
Yes. And the thing is, if you do speed limit out there, everybody's passing you at such a rate where you feel like you're literally standing still.
Yeah.
Yes.
So everybody else is doing a faster speed limit, and trucks are required to drive 55. Am I correct?
That's correct.
The four-wheelers, they could 70, and we're stuck at 55.
I've heard studies that say that really isn't safe to have
Not
a divided.
safe at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all. It's truly not. And I understand that they're trying to keep the speed down on the trucks, and I get that. But when there's a 15-mile difference between the cars and trucks, that's when you start getting into a safety issue. And so, I don't understand why California does it.
I don't understand a lot of the things that California does.
I can sum up a lot of it in one word: revenue.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they look at, hey, if we pull a truck over and give him a ticket for this, that, or whatever, it's usually going to be a higher fine than for a car at a similar speed.
Yes. We had a friend of ours who actually worked for FedEx Ground that got a ticket going through California doing 60, so 5 miles over the speed limit. And I think his ticket was almost $500. I was like, any other state, you would not have paid that much.
No, that's a highway robbery, frankly.
Pretty much every other state wouldn't even pull you over for 5 over.
No, yeah.
You could claim speedometer error.
Exactly. There's so many things you could claim, but 5 miles over, that's just a little ridiculous.
Yeah. And when that whole state really depends on trucks, especially with their agriculture, they ought to be nicer to truckers.
You would think, yeah. I mean, I love California. It's beautiful, but.
Yeah, Tom?
We've had this conversation before. It's common sense. It doesn't exist west of Arizona.
Oh, okay. It's a good way to explain the whole situation there.
I like that.
No offense, Larry, since I know you did come from California, but.
Yeah, but I'm not a lawmaker.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's a beautiful state. I've been to California. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, but I can't afford it, so I don't live there.
No.
So.
Too expensive for me.
Lawyers, doctors, and movie stars.
There you go. There you go. We're going to be back with more with Angie and Larry Baum of Trucker Safety Info and Married to the Road. They've got some more great stories, and we definitely want them to be able to tell you where you can join up on Trucker Safety Info on Facebook too. This is the Truckers Network radio show on TNCRadio.LIVE. I'm Shelley Johnson with my co-host Tom Kirk. You're listening to TNCRadio.LIVE. Stay tuned.
This info blog on TNCRadio.LIVE is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. 4 things truck drivers need to know about motor truck cargo insurance. Motor truck cargo legal liability insurance, also referred to as cargo insurance, covers the loss or damage to the freight you're hauling. When hauling cargo, there's always a risk that it could be damaged or stolen. While there are no legal requirements to have cargo insurance, it is highly recommended to better protect yourself and the goods you're hauling. What is cargo insurance? Cargo insurance protects you from financial loss if the freight you're hauling gets damaged or lost. In the event of an accident, cargo insurance pays for the amount you're insured for only if the event is covered. Cargo damage resulting from collision, accidents, fire, and spoilage are examples of covered events in most cargo policies. Benefits of cargo insurance. When hauling cargo, someone's paying you to safely deliver someone's assets from point A to point B. The main benefit of motor truck cargo insurance is that you reduce financial loss if the cargo you're hauling gets damaged. Also, purchasing cargo insurance gives you a peace of mind knowing that you're covered if your cargo gets damaged. How is cargo premium determined? The motor truck cargo rate depends on the type of cargo you're hauling. The classifications include dry van freight, flatbed freight, refrigerated freight or reefer, autos, household goods mover, and hazmat. As there are many different cargo classifications for a motor carrier, discuss with your agent the type of freight you intend on hauling. Insurance carriers generally classify motor carriers with the highest commodities hauled. So even if you only intend to haul autos 5% of the time and 95% of the time flatbed freight, your premium will be based on an auto hauler. This is why it's so important to talk with your agent about everything you'll be hauling. This ensures that the policy is written the correct way and excludes nothing that you intend to haul. Nobody wants to be stuck with a cargo claim commodity that's not covered under their policy. Please note that the coverages, limits, and explanations of coverages mentioned here can differ with every motor truck cargo policy, depending on the type of cargo hauled and carrier requirements. Please discuss what is included and what can be added on or endorsed to your policy or quote with your current agent. What limits are you required to carry? There are many factors that determine the cargo limit a motor carrier should carry. Unlike commercial auto liability, generally the shipper who owns the freight will provide you with a minimum limit required to haul a load for them, not the federal government. The standard limit of cargo insurance for general freight is $100,000, but this limit can differ. For example, if a carrier is an auto hauler, his cargo limit could be anywhere from $150,000 to $1 million depending on the number of autos hauled and the auto's conditions. This info blog was brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net.
You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show on TNCRadio.LIVE. I'm Shelley Johnson with Tom Kirk. We're talking with Angie and Larry Baum of Trucker Safety Info and the podcast Married to the Road. Angie, I understand you started a line of clothing in addition to everything else you're doing. Now, this is amazing. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I started making T-shirts for truckers and, well, truckers' wives and retired truckers, pretty much everything you can think of. And we even started a little kids line. But what I used to be a graphic designer for a long, long time. So this is kind of bringing me back to my roots. And so I started designing some new truckers T-shirts, and we set them up through Trucker Safety Info. And then we're giving 30% of the proceeds back into our fundraiser. So it's kind of a nice way to give some cool trucking shirts with our information on it, but also, the money goes to help out the families that we're helping out with the Trucker Safety Info fundraiser.
Oh, that's very cool. So describe some of the clothing. What do you have for people?
Well, we got lots of shirts, and we've got totes, and we've got coffee cups and tumblers and hoodies, and we just started up a children's line too. So we got some cute little shirts that say like, my daddy's a trucker, or I got my attitude from my daddy. And so I'm just trying to, a lot of the truckers, and they'll be like, hey, can you make one for, us moms out there who have sons that are truckers? So I do take, whatever, and our pet people have pets. So I take their ideas and try to run with them.
That's really cool. Do you also take maybe like photographs and do that kind of thing if somebody has like a pet for their co-driver? Because some people have furry co-drivers.
Yeah, I could definitely do that. That's a good idea. We have 2 furry co-drivers ourselves. So yeah.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, we've got a Bandit and Gizmo. They're our 2 little dogs.
Aw, what kind of doggies?
They are called She-Poms. They're Shih Tzu Pomeranians.
Oh, how
That's
cute.
what I call them.
Oh. Yeah. He calls them shit palms instead of sheep palms.
Okay. That sounds like a guy.
I was thinking he would be more like me and just call him rats.
He does that too.
So I take they're more your doggies, right, Angie?
Yes, they are my babies.
Nothing wrong with little doggies.
No, they are spoiled rotten. I call them my road dogs.
Any suggestions on how do you manage having a couple pets plus run team? I imagine that gets a little challenging once in a while.
It does, but I tell you what, the biggest benefit is it forces you to get out of the truck and walk, which is a good thing because, so many truck drivers wind up getting leg clots and stuff like that. So I think that's the biggest benefit. It forces you to get off your butt and walk, which is a good thing.
Absolutely. They'll remind you, hey, we got to go out. Come on.
Yes, absolutely.
About the only time you probably don't want to do that, though, is when the weather is really cold. So
yes, you're like, please hurry. I'm freezing.
And they're like, what are you doing? Why am I out here? My feet are freezing, right?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
We have about 2 minutes before we have to go to the top of the hour. How do people find your group? And what else would you like to say to our listeners?
Well, you can find us on Facebook. Just type in Trucker Safety Info. And actually, Larry and I, we haven't done our podcast for a while, but we're going to be starting back up again. We're pretty excited about that. And actually, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the morning weather and construction and information. So our truck drivers on the road, all they have to do is just listen to our podcast every morning, and we'll give them the updated weather and construction and information. So Excellent. You can also find Married to the Road on Facebook too. But we'll be starting that up, I think, Monday, actually. And that way, our truck drivers who are on the road can just get their morning updates without having to go to Facebook and read it.
That's awesome. Well, you guys are busy.
We are. I love it.
You're not going to be bored. That's for sure.
No.
I think it's really cool. It sounds like you guys are having a blast, and that's what life's all about. Plus, you get to see the countryside while you're doing all of this, and
absolutely. Life is too short not to enjoy it and have some fun out there. And when you got a job that you love, it just makes it that much better.
Yeah.
TNCRadio.LIVE, your commercial driver navigation station.
Hi, this is Tom Kelly, managing partner of Emsico LLC, doing business as TNCRadio.LIVE. TNCRadio.live. The website TNCRadio.live and any content or podcast related to the website are copyrights of IMSICO, LLC, copyright 2021. All rights reserved. Any redistribution or reproduction of all or any part of the contents in any form is prohibited other than the following. We welcome you to download and play the publicly available podcast and share with others for personal use. Please acknowledge TNCRadio.live as the source of the material. You may not, except with our express written permission, distribute or commercially exploit the content. And while we endeavor to keep the information up to date and correct, we make no representations or warranties of any kind expressed or implied about the completeness, accuracy, reliability, suitability, or availability with respect to the website, the podcast, or the information, products, services, or related graphics contained on the website or podcast for any purpose. Any reliance you place on such information is therefore strictly at your own risk. For additional information, including details regarding monetization of this podcast, send email to podcasts@tncradio.live.